Hello everyone, my name is Louis Demers, and today I'm going to be going through an instructional video on how to create an articulation assessment for a student. The articulation assignment we've been completing is something that's actually pretty interesting. I actually had the opportunity to do something similar like this when I was in placement with a few students that I work with. The games were similar. It was a little bit more matching, but this one I just created at home. It's really quite simple. So first and foremost, as we learned in the video and in module 3, what we were supposed to do initially and obviously throughout the whole process is we want to make the student feel very comfortable. So usually we'd start out with, "Hi, my name is Mr. D," and I would introduce myself and try to create a little bit of a rapport almost to help the student relax, to feel calm. And with assessments like this, we usually want to do it in a quiet area, an area that is a little bit away from everyone else to eliminate distractions and other students, getting involved. So first what we would do after that is I would explain to him the game. So basically what we used to call this is Farm Frenzy or Animal Roundup, something similar to that. But because they're all words with the letter P, that's the letter that I've chosen, I decided to make it with actual pictures that I cut out from a magazine. So essentially what we would do is we would find all the words or letters that we would want to use. And basically with P, I wanted to find words and objects and things that we were talking about that are obviously child appropriate, wanting to make sure that they obviously are learning words that are important and things that they will use in their vocabulary. So basically what I would do is something similar to this. So this is the first one I made. So this is police. So essentially what I would do is I would show the child the image that they are trying to say. And the good thing about this one is it has an image of an officer with a band on his head to show that he's police, and it says it right there. So we would start out by saying "pa, pa," and see initially where through the final, intermediate, and the middle that the child was struggling with. I would usually attempt to sound it out with him right away. A verbal or a visual cue is most important when trying to help him out. I'm not going to say the actual word for him, but I'm going to give him all kinds of prompts, and I'm going to make sure that he understands that we're not trying to make this difficult. This is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be educational. It's supposed to be exciting for him. You want him to have fun. So we would start out first and foremost with police. Get him to finally say it. He finally says that one. Then we would move on to a little bit more of a difficult one. The next one is a little cute. That would be a puppy. So I would usually hold this up and see immediately. The picture is very descriptive. See if the child immediately can, or the student can notice it right away. So I would say, "What's this?" Puppy, puppy, and then try to obviously explain where to move your tongue in your mouth if the student is struggling with maybe pronunciation of the N part of that being puppy. So I would say this, and we would go on from there, and then we would keep moving. So I would do another one. This one is so I have 10. This one is paint. So actually it might be a little bit difficult for this one because a student might not know what deluxe diamond means. So I would usually hold this up and then, maybe ask like, what are we looking at? It's a paint can, and then try to get the sound pronunciation down almost to get them to actually sound the whole word out correctly. And then we go back to it. And as soon as they get one correct, I forgot to mention this, they would take it and put it in a basket that we would have right there. And then from then on in, they would get a sticker. Each one they get correct is a sticker. You get all of them correct, 10 stickers, and then you get a gift, a little prize, an eraser, something like that. That's what I've done before. So the next one we will go on to is, this one's a little bit trickier. Hard to see right away, but it's actually a bowl of pasta. So what I would say is try to use prompts in the sense that we're trying to explain to him the best way to kind of come up with this word. So I would hold it up, just like we're doing with them, and then asta. Try to actually pronounce the last couple letters of it in hopes that he's actually, or the student is actually going to keep moving with it and be able to go on further. So now that we did that, we'll keep going. This one is actually pretty interesting, I like. So I basically took out, I had a book about planets, and I took a few out and I cut them up. So you can see there's Venus, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter. There's a few different ones there. So what I would usually do is hold it up like this and then ask the student to describe what he sees. Okay, he sees circles. What does it look like? And the biggest one right there is obviously Earth, where we live. So that one would be a little bit easier. So I would say planets, nits, and then try to go throughout the whole word, just like with the other ones. I find it really important to do that and actually make it through the whole word, as opposed to just right away saying planets, like, because then the student really isn't going to know how to go through the whole word, especially if he's struggling. As we learn with articulation, we actually want the student to, obviously have a little bit more of tactile and model it, I guess, a little bit more about like pronunciation and trying to get the full words out, right? Kind of the whole between fish, dish, puppy, plates, planets, stuff like that. Try to get the pronunciation down correctly. This one is an easy one. All students would know this. It is pizza. Pizza is the easiest one. I think pizzas, every student, at least in my opinion, the ones that I've worked with really enjoy Pizza Day. So when they get this one correct, obviously they go and put that in the bin. This one is a personal favorite of mine because I really enjoy it. This is pastries. Pastries is really a good word to use, I think, mainly because the fact that it's a little complex. It's not like plants or pasta or anything like that. Pastry. So there's certain ways to have to pronunciate that, and I find when you're able to go throughout the whole word and have the student say it with you and have them model it after the whole word, as opposed to actually going through and just saying it very quickly, because pastries, they might add a letter or remove something or remove a sound. I know when I was a child, and similar to even my niece now, when she's a couple years old, when she's learning how to speak, she usually would add a word or replace something and say, if it's a name she can't pronounce, specifically my name, my name's Louis, she usually can't pronunciate the L, so she says ooey, ooey, ooey. So I try with the students that I've worked with, and with this articulation game and assessment that I would use, I would slow everything down. I said pastries. There was a student that I worked with at Our Lady of Good Voyage when I was working there, that my whole job during the day was sitting with him and reading with him. And oftentimes when we would follow along and we would get to a word that he couldn't pronounce, he would go through it very quickly. Just, and I would say, okay, no, we have to slow down. So we stop, we go through the whole word. So pastries, ties, trees. You have to really pronunciate words like that. So that's kind of the how I would approach that. So we'll go through the last three. So this one's a very easy one. This one is plants. Plants, obviously the same thing. Plants. It's very easy, I think, that one. We have to take our time as well. This one's a really fun one, I think. All the students would get this one. This is potato head, or Mr. or Mrs., whatever you want to call it. Potato head. That one is a little bit easier. Potato head. And then it's two words combined into one. So I find once they pronunciate that, the next one, which is potatoes, should be really easy, because the fact that potatoes, again, with all these and what we're trying to accomplish here, I find the practice with it is extremely important. You want to do an assessment like this maybe 2-3 times a day. You always want to make it fun and educational. You want to make it exciting. And most importantly, you always want the student to win. So we want to make it easy. We want to make it exciting. Again, it's almost not exactly like a sound book, but this is something where the child would develop awareness of the target sound that we're trying to get across, which is P. He was struggling with P, N, S. I find with P in the letters and the objects that I've chosen, it would create a good amount of balance between difficulty and ease when the student's completing it. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation, and I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Take care.